Great. All right, man. And cheers. Great. So before we start, I just want to talk a little bit about this sake because I might feature this on my channel because it's actually pretty good.
Yeah, I really like it.
Yeah. So I don't know how to read this.
Sure.
It's something, but let's see. It's probably going to say on the back. Oh yeah, no kaya. So no kaya. It's from Toyama actually, and it's junmai. So there's no like added alcohol into it. So it's got a pretty clean flavor. You can taste the rice in it.
Yeah.
So I can tell you more about sake later. But anyways, guys, this is really good. You should try this if you can.
It is.
All right. So Austin, today we are going to be talking about dating, relationships.
Today's dating day.
Yeah. I am currently married, happily married.
I am currently single. Happily single. Yeah.
I mean, you're doing good. You're doing good.
Yeah. I'm actually pretty happy with my life right now.
Yeah. So I guess today I want to talk mainly about like our experience.
Yeah.
You know, finding people, getting into relationships and stuff. I want to start for you. How difficult has it been to find like a good partner for you?
Oh God, man. If you had left out the word good there, I would have said, not so bad.
Yeah. So if you can find a partner, it's easy, but
yeah. It's it's just the search for, that special someone,
Yeah.
That's the tricky part. Regarding like finding a girlfriend here though, I don't think it's been challenging.
Yeah. Like if you want to find someone to hang out with, it's not that difficult, but
yeah. There's I think part of that has to do with Japanese culture, but I think a bigger part of that has to do with just the fact that we live in a big city,
Yeah. Well, dude, I'll tell you, so my sister, she's from, well, she's not from, but she lives in New York.
Yeah.
And, yeah, she says that actually the dating scene is pretty difficult there.
I have heard the same thing about my foreign friends that are female here. They've told me that they've had some real difficult times dating.
So it's pretty easy for guys, but it's not super easy for. Okay,
that's what it seems that way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because you're asking why. I'm not a girl, so I don't know exactly why. But from what I've heard is with foreign females and what their expectation of men are, I think is more different than a Japanese female and what their expectation of like what a man should be. So I think there's a bigger expectation when the foreign person is a female than when they are a male. Yeah. That's kind of what I think.
Okay.
So that creates more conflict.
Okay.
I think is the main reason.
Okay. So, probably I know a lot of guys who are actually teachers here.
Sure.
And they have a really hard time finding a serious partner, someone that they think is really a good fit for them,
Yeah.
So it's easy to like go to Roppongi or whatever and just find someone. I mean, you can just go there.
Something that I have found to be really interesting is if you look at the people who are typically interested in English, and obviously this doesn't apply to everyone because there's obviously men who are interested in English, but typically speaking, when I'm teaching English classes, when I'm seeing English classes being taught, or when I see somebody, generates interest in English, most of the time it's a girl.
Oh, really?
I've found that out of my friends, talking to my Japanese friends, my female friends tend to travel significantly more than my male friends. And I don't know if that's a part of Japanese culture or what, maybe that's just the thing in Tokyo. I'm not sure, but I have noticed that.
Well, I know as an English teacher, right? So as someone who doesn't work in a school but is a freelancer, I found out that for TOEIC and business English, of course, the largest audience is men.
Sure.
But for eikaiwa, for like regular English conversation stuff, they tend to be mostly women, I find. Or people who want to leave Japan in that case. So I mean, so it's almost like the people who are interested in English tend to skew towards being female.
It seems
more.
that way. It definitely seems that way. And going off what you were kind of alluding to earlier, it's you get those people, or you get a shared interest in something, right? And so, specifically as an English teacher here, you tend to get a lot of, if you're a man, you tend to get a lot of girls who mostly just want to practice English.
Yeah, right, right, right.
Like, okay, here's a perfect example leading into this, right? So this summer I have completely sworn off dating.
Okay.
I've talked with you about this. I'm like really into like improving my self-image. So I'm like really going hard into exercising and eating healthy and improving my mental strength. And but before that, I was kind of just shaking things off. I got out of a 3-year relationship.
Yeah, man.
And so I entered the dating scene again, right? And I met this nice girl. She's somewhere out in Chiba. I can't remember exactly where she was from. Anyways, we go on a date, and things go well. She's very nice. She was really, really interested in American culture. So that was kind of like a red flag already.
She was interested in American culture?
Yeah, like she would ask me more questions about America than questions about me.
Oh, really?
And I was kind of like,
man.
Huh.
Yeah.
But, I had a good time. Yeah. So we continued the second date.
Yeah.
And kind of the same thing happened. And I remember I really noticed it this time. And so I kind of got a little bit turned off from this whole thing. But I decided, you know what? Okay, we'll meet one more time. So we met again. And this exact same thing happened. And at this point, I was starting to get a little bit frustrated. And so, like, I told her at the end of the night, like, look, you're a nice girl, but, it's very obvious that you're more interested in just foreign culture than it is, like, specifically me. So, sorry, it's not going to work. And she started crying in front of me. Yeah. She started crying in front of me. And she's like, I just don't understand, like, what do you foreign guys want? And I'm just like,
oh, that's the issue there.
That's it right there. Yeah. Like, I just want to be not objectified.
Yeah.
And it's weird to say that. It's weird to say that because I have never experienced that in my entire life. In fact, I think being back in America, I had a lot of Asian friends.
Yeah.
And I remember talking to like some of my female Asian friends and being like, well, like, I'm like a commodity here. Like, you got like the stereotype yellow fever. Like, guys are going after Asian girls. Yeah. Well, it's like the exact opposite here. Yeah. So it's a really weird experience.
Yeah, it's funny. I remember coming here and someone was always telling me, be aware of the gaijin hunters. And I was like, what are those? And those are kind of like the opposite of yellow fever, I guess. So like, I guess, a lot of Asian women in the States feel objectified too. Like when I tell people on the internet that my wife is Japanese, they're like, oh man, she must be so good in bed. I'm like, come on, man.
Who says that about another man's wife?
I know. But it's the internet too. But I understand what you mean. Like for me, one of the things that was tough, right?
Yeah.
Was finding someone who, if they were with me, was to find someone who liked me. Yeah. And not necessarily because I was white or American or something. Like I remember there were a few times when like before I was married, when I met some girls and they were saying like, yeah, I've never dated a Japanese man before, as like a source of pride or something.
Yeah, it definitely seems that way, where it's like having like a foreign not even specifically a foreign boyfriend, because I think it works in the opposite too. Just having a foreign partner, I think is kind of like a status symbol or something, Yeah. And I really want to express, like, I think it's okay to have a preference of the person you like, and even if like someone likes English and is interested in foreign culture and wants a foreign boyfriend or girlfriend, that's okay. But it's just like there's a barrier you don't cross. It's like you gotta respect the person still. It's like
it's tough, right? Because like, so for a lot of people, like a lot of times when I was in college and I was meeting women, it was because of English related stuff. Yeah. So that's kind of like a hurdle that you have to overcome. And some people just kind of want you to stay as like you are the white American boyfriend that looks cool.
Yeah.
But then other people can see beyond that.
Yeah.
Like I remember one time there was this there's this girl that I was getting along with pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
And one day we were just hanging out and she was saying, "I like your nose. It's so tall." And I was like, well, maybe for like Japanese people that's a compliment, but then she kept on talking about, you know, oh yeah, American people think this way and it just makes so much more sense to me, and yeah, I like how you're so tall, Arthur, and like not like Japanese men, and always comparing me to either like American people or Japanese people.
That's always been something that fascinates me, because you get the opposite in the US too. It's like, oh my gosh, you know, XYZ country in Europe or, you know, Japan or whatever. It's like, oh, the culture is so sophisticated and you know, you always hear like the Americans have no culture. Right. And it's just so funny hearing it on the other side. It's like, what is going on here? No, I totally get it though. When I first came here, I've been okay. I'm gonna do a little bit of backstory.
Yeah, sure.
Here. I've always considered myself to be somebody who I'm not gonna say is really confident, but I'm not afraid to go up and talk to somebody.
Yeah, right.
And so when I first got here, immediately I was like, all right, you know what? I made it to Japan. I want a relationship now. We're just gonna get right in.
Just get right in.
Stupid idea. Okay. By the way.
Wait, why is that a stupid idea?
I think it's probably a better idea to
make sure you're speaking into the
mic. I think it's probably a better idea to maybe wait like a couple months and kind of get used to your environment and make sure that, you know, you're not going to go crazy just from your life here before you bring another person into your life.
Okay.
But anyways, so I decided I wanted to start dating, and this is week one.
Week one, man. You got busy fast.
Week one. I'm still broke at this point. I have no money because like I said, it cost all of my money to open up my apartment. And so I didn't have internet.
Yeah.
But what I did have is a cell phone. I got my SIM card on day one.
Okay.
Or actually day two, actually. But so I got my SIM card. So I had a smartphone. What do we do? What do we do when we get a smartphone and we want to go dating? We download Tinder.
Okay.
So I went that route.
Okay.
And I started, you know, I created my profile and everything and started matching with people. And so a couple days later, I met this girl at a Starbucks. And so this is why you should get your life in order before you start.
I'm ready to hear it. I'm ready to hear it.
So I started talking to this girl. She was a very nice girl, and she was really interested in speaking English.
Okay,
right. It's like those are the ones that instantly get drawn to you, and she had a lot of free time at the moment. Okay, because I think she was going to school at the time, and you know, she was like, "Oh wow, it's so cool that you moved here. Like, you know, I'd like to help you." And it's like I heard that I'd like to help you. Yeah. And so my brain just instantly was like, "Well, I got a whole laundry list of problems going on in my life right now. So I mean, you can help me get this. And so she got my internet set up. She got my power turned on in my apartment. Wow. She got like everything set up. Like I got internet and everything. And this is gonna sound like a real douche thing to do. Yeah. You know, and looking back on it now, it's like, man, I basically just used her to get my life set up here.
Wait, did you like not stop seeing her after everything was done?
For different reasons, yes.
Are you sure it's for different reasons, or you were just done?
I'm not the kind of person who uses people, but
dude, make sure you're talking in the mic.
Oh god.
Yeah, you got to change you can change the angle of the mic a little bit, you know. Pull it out a bit.
I'm not the kind of person who uses people, but I just, it's really easy to slip into that mode when you have all these problems going on in your life, and you know somebody's got like really easy answers to everything.
I get it. I'm just kind of like
no, I know. I just want to explain like why this is like kind of more of a cautionary tale. Okay, you know, and so it's this whole idea of like respecting people is like what I'm really into. Yeah. And it took a while to get there. So like we explored around on Tinder for a little bit, and then I just wasn't finding anyone who particularly interested me. And so I decided to jump into the big stereotype as the international parties.
Oh, you went to the international parties. Okay.
I went to the international parties.
Those things.
So there's a number of them. There's ones that occur in Roppongi. I went to the one. I don't remember what it is. It's been like 4 or 5 years now, but it's in Shibuya.
Okay.
They do like I want to say it's like every Thursday. Or Saturday or something.
I think I know the owner of that one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, he know our buds.
But yeah, so like you'd start out and do like pub crawls, right? So you're going from bar to bar to bar, and you're talking to these people, and it's open to anybody.
Yeah.
But Japanese girls get free admission.
Japanese girls
get free admission. Japanese guys still have to pay.
Yeah. And
I believe it's I think foreign guys have to pay, and I think foreign girls have to pay.
Oh, okay.
I just remember something stuck out specifically, like Japanese women don't have to pay. So that's like one of the things that kind of like just immediately struck out, like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
Like, God, you meet some real, I'm going to use this term politely, interesting people at international parties. There's definitely like, there's this group. So first of all, kind of like what you were referring to earlier, you have a lot of girls who like are like gaijin chasers, right?
Yeah.
That are just like really obsessed with the concept of dating a foreign guy. But then you get some other guys, like some foreign guys in there that like, I don't know if they've talked to humans before.
Yeah.
Like you just get that vibe so much because it's weird because, you know, I would go and talk to them, right?
Yeah.
It's not even like, you know, I'm not a girl, so I'd go up and just, you know, learn who they are. And there's a lot of guys there who just are really awkward in conversations. And not all of them, but that's one of the things that I noticed right away. And the whole thing felt very artificial.
Well, here's the thing, right, man?
Yeah.
So I kind of have a thing with this, right? So actually, when I came to Tokyo, it was before Tinder became popular.
Oh, you lucky man!
No, but I mean, so it was right around the time when those dating apps started to become popular. But
yeah,
what is it? I wanted to find friends and I wanted to practice Japanese, so I was looking for a language exchange partner.
Yeah,
I didn't realize at that time that language exchange is just another form of dating, just incognito, like. The only people who would match with me are girls or gay guys. And
really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. And so originally I was like going to like practice language or whatever. And then it would always get kind of awkward when they'd be like, oh yeah, so let's go have dinner and it's like, it was almost like a date, almost kind of a thing. And it's the same thing, like here, it's the same thing with these international parties, right? Like people don't just talk their native language to talk their native language. There's always a purpose there.
Yeah.
So like the people who go to those parties are either looking for a date or, well, if the theme is talking in English and the native speakers come, they're either looking for a date or they just don't know how to make friends and they're just desperate.
That's exactly it.
Yeah. So actually for a lot of my like Japanese students, and actually like right now at this point, the majority of our viewers are actually Japanese. So これで日本語で失礼します。I'm just going to say, so これを聞いてる日本人の皆さん、本当に友達を作りたいんだったら、多分英会話系のイベントに参加しない方がいいと思うんですよ。その国際パーティーも参加しない方がいいと思います。なぜかというと、やっぱり、なんかネイティブは、なんかわざわざ英語を話しにイベントに行くわけではないから、何か下心を持ってる人がほとんどで、もしくは、ものすごくおかしい人しか参加しないんで、逆に日本文化体験とか日本語が中心になっているイベントに参加する方は、純粋に友達を作りたいと思ってくれる方に出会いやすいと思うんですね。So, that was just for you guys. I just want to say that. Yeah, you gotta, like, so for me, right? I found my wife.
Yeah.
Because through mutual friends, right? And actually at that time I was going to church and I filled that up really too high. Sorry, man.
Oh no.
Oh no, you got to drink it all. Yeah, so like I found my wife through mutual friends.
Yeah.
And I found those friends through like mutual hobbies or mutual interests.
Yeah.
And it was a very organic way of meeting people. I wasn't actually looking for a girlfriend, but I found a great partner.
I think that is the best way, man. And I'm glad you kind of brought that up because like I said, I recently just became single.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I'm about to hit my 1 year anniversary.
How did you meet that girl, by the way?
So my ex, we met off Tinder.
Oh, you met off Tinder. Okay.
Yeah, I when I first met her, I wasn't actually expecting to date her.
Yeah.
God, it was the most embarrassing first date I've ever had in my life because I couldn't even remember her name.
Yeah.
And I like I said, I really want to emphasize I am not a player. I'm not the kind of guy who just burns through women. I couldn't remember her name because at the time, like I was messaging a lot of girls just to throw myself out there. So I wasn't like man whoring myself out.
Yeah.
But so like we met in this cafe place and we're like talking and I literally couldn't remember her name. I couldn't remember any details about her whatsoever. And she called me out on it.
Yeah.
Like, because I think I called her name's Miki.
Miki, okay.
And she, like, I can't remember exactly what happened, but I think I might have called her the wrong name.
Oh, okay.
Like another girl's name. And like, she called me out on it. I remember going to the bathroom and like pulling out my phone and be like, who is this person? Like trying to look up details on their profile.
Yeah.
It was horrible. Somehow that manifested into a relationship though. Things were going really well for a while. But I'm not going to get into details.
You don't have to get into details about that. Sad story.
So we were together for 3 years and we broke up.
Yeah.
And so traditionally I haven't been somebody who uses like dating websites and dating apps, but I decided, you know what, like why not jump into this? Like it's like you look for the rebound person or whatever, you know? Yeah. And so when we broke up, I downloaded Tinder, I downloaded Bumble, which is another one. And then there was Badoo.
Badoo?
Yeah.
I've never heard of that.
Yeah, it's like, it's out of the 3 main dating apps, it's probably the most sketchy.
Okay.
Like, it's real sketchy.
Okay.
Like 80% of the girls on there are like Chinese scammers or bots. Like it's a weird thing. You'll like message them and then you'll have a conversation like 2 weeks later they'll be like, yeah, so like do you want to invest in like stocks in Taiwan? Yeah. And it's like what?
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, just sign up for this program. It's like,
yeah,
where did this come from?
Yeah, right.
Like who dedicates this much time into like trying to get somebody in here?
Yeah.
I mean, it must be working because I mean, obviously they wouldn't be doing it if it didn't, but yeah, it's crazy. But yeah, so I signed up for a bunch of apps, and one thing I noticed is like you know this about me. I am not a person who is any way, shape, or form fond of social media.
Yeah, right.
Which I know that's ironic because we're here on YouTube now, and I've told Arthur this, and I'm making a promise that I am going to make a Facebook account and start communicating with people.
Yeah, we have to talk with people who are watching this.
We do have to talk because I do want to know what you guys have to say. But I can't stand it. Yeah. And the reason why is because when I'm having a conversation with someone, I like to look them in the eyes and have a conversation with them. You know, it's like. I hate talking on the phone for the exact same reason. Like I'll text people out of necessity and for communication purposes, but I'm not the kind of person who just like is sitting there like on their couch just like messaging people. Because if I want to talk to somebody, I'll go up and talk to them. Yeah. So when I downloaded these apps, I noticed that a lot of girls wanted just to talk on an app for like 2 or 3 weeks. Yeah. You know, I'd suggest, of course, COVID was going on as well. So that definitely was a factor. But a lot of them, you know, I'd suggest like meeting up and they're like, well, I don't know. Let's just hang out on here and chat. It's like, I don't know who you are.
I think a lot of people actually, so I remember looking up, because one of the things that I do in my business, right, is I help Japanese people make friends with English speakers so they can speak English in their everyday life, right? Not teachers, but just talk with people for free. Yeah. And so I was looking up articles for Japanese people on how to make friends. Kaikokuji no tomodachi zukuri, right? How to make friends. Yeah. And a lot of them were saying, yeah, sign up for dating apps. Foreigners use those and you can like practice your English all the time.
Yeah, I believe it. Yeah. I absolutely believe it. I met, I have so many random Tinder stories of just like weird people. I mean, maybe we could do like an episode where we just talk about weird stories here. Yeah. But I'll kind of leave it to the greatest hits here. So, I met one girl, who obviously seemed to be very affluent.
Okay.
I knew I was way out of my league as soon as I laid eyes on her. So we met up in Shibuya, and this girl was like just decked out head to toe in very, very expensive clothing. And here's my stupid ass. And like, I wore like just regular jeans. I had my leather jacket.
Okay.
Which women hate, actually.
Really?
I love my leather jacket so much.
You like women in the States too?
Yes. I don't know why. They don't like it. Like my ex-girlfriend always used to she always used to tell me it smells bad.
Well, that's
and I'm like, what do you mean?
Smell is important, man.
Well, yeah, and it's not like it stinks.
Yeah.
Like I'm not a stinky person. It smells like leather.
Yeah.
And she would tell me how she hates the smell of leather, and I just knew there and then that things weren't going to work out, because it's like, who doesn't like the smell of leather?
Yeah.
But anyways, so I'm typically a pretty conservative dresser. So right away walked up, and she kind of looks at me and she's like, wow, expected you to kind of dress up a little bit more.
Oh, really?
That was like the first thing she said to me.
That's the thing she said?
It's like, oh, okay. And so we end up going to this like rooftop bar. Okay. In Shibuya.
Did she recommend it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it's on top of it's the mall.
Yeah, Hikarie?
Yeah. Right to the left of the scramble.
Yeah. Oh, right to the left of the scramble.
Yeah. That sounds really confusing. But you know what I mean? Like you come out of the station, you're at the scramble, and you're facing the cross, and then to the left, like
Shibuya Mark City?
Yeah, I think that might be it.
Okay.
I never learned. I've lived here 5 years.
Dude, come on, man.
I'm really good with locations.
Yeah.
It's the same way in the US. It's not a thing about Japan.
Okay. So you go to this rooftop bar?
Yeah, so we went to this rooftop place, and it was really expensive, and like everyone was just I was very underdressed for this situation. Yeah. And I could tell right away that this girl literally just wanted to have like a foreigner.
Oh, really?
There.
Oh, really?
There's like
What made you think that?
So she had a whole bunch of friends there. Okay. And she immediately went and just introduced me to like, oh, look, I brought this guy here. And we would go back to the table, and I just remember like the conversations we were having was just like, it was me talking and her just going, Okay. And so I could tell she wasn't really interested in like, who I was.
Yeah. Just the fact that you were like foreigner.
Yeah. And so I feel like I've had two experiences with dating apps here. The first one has been, like you get girls who are just like want the experience of that. Yeah. And the other ones are just people who just don't know how to talk. Yeah. And that's kind of my roundabout way of saying that, like, I think dating apps are kind of ruining relationships with people. Because I think people do not know how to have conversations face to face these days. I mean, think about it. Like, one of my favorite hobbies, and I don't know if this sounds creepy, but I think it's fun. I like to people watch. Yeah. When I'm going places. And so like for example, if I'm going out drinking or if I'm going to a restaurant with some friends or something, I'll just look around and kind of see who's, sitting around me and kind of just look at what's going on. And it's not even specifically with foreigners. It's also like Japanese couples. I'll notice you can always tell who is like on their first date or so, because you get people who are just kind of like just looking at their phone and kind of like just, there's not a lot of interaction going on.
It's very transactional almost.
It is. And I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that people are more used to communicating on phone and on social media apps instead of, putting in the effort just to go out and talk to somebody. Yeah.
So for you, like, actually I have a lesson in a few minutes, so I have to go, but, so let's think about this, right? So you've used Tinder. Sure. I never really used Tinder. Yeah. How would you find someone who likes you for you and not your foreigner status?
I think I've come to this conclusion. Yeah. In my opinion, I think the best thing, if you are a foreigner coming here, or living here and having problems, you got to learn Japanese.
You got to learn. Yeah, that's really important.
I honestly think that's the only way you can get out of this bubble. I'm not saying you can't find a partner that happens to have a huge interest in English and, you know, is interested in you, but it's so difficult because the amount of people that speak English here, it's like a drop in the bucket compared to the amount of people who live here.
Yeah.
You know, and you're just shutting yourself off so much from experiencing everyone else. You know, so that's been like a real big drive for me. Like I don't want to get into the dating scene until I can, you know, have a real confident mastery of Japanese.
Yeah, I mean, and I would say too, like instead of going to these like international parties, if you just want to have like a friends with benefits or whatever, you want to have a one night stand, like by all means. Go to like language exchange, whatever, or like go to these international parties or go to a bar, you know? But if you want to find someone who really appreciates you, then I would say go to those common interest meetings that's not themed on international stuff.
Very
so
much.
Like if you have a hobby,
very much
find someone there.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's, no matter who it is, I'm sure there's a lot of things that you're interested in and you just pick one of those. You can find, like you said in a previous episode, there's a group for that in Tokyo.
Exactly.
You just go find that. So, Austin, I gotta say, what are we gonna talk about next time?
Ooh, man, yeah, I picked the theme last time, so I think it's only fair that you pick the theme.
I wanna talk about how awesome convenience stores are,
dude.
Japan.
Okay, that's a good one. I fucking love 7-Eleven.
We'll do that next time. We'll do that next time. All right, thanks, man.
Yeah, thanks a lot, everybody.
Yeah.